This Garage Files truck looked like the kind of deal everybody wants to find. The photos were clean, the price was low enough to feel urgent, and the seller had the same line every marketplace buyer has heard before. Nothing major, just needed gone. But the first clue showed up before the buyer ever talked numbers. The engine was already warm when the buyer pulled up. At first, the truck did the usual used truck routine. It started, it idled, and it looked decent from 10 feet away. The seller kept pointing out the good stuff: tires, interior, recent parts, and how many people had already messaged about it. That pressure is exactly why buyers miss expensive problems. The buyer slowed the inspection down. No rushing, no revving it just because the seller said it ran strong. No ignoring the small thing that felt off. The red flag was the cold start was missing from the inspection. On a cheap truck, one warning sign does not always mean walk away, but it does mean you stop trusting the story and start checking the evidence. That meant looking past the listing photos. It meant checking the dash, the fluids, the body lines, the wiring, and the parts of the truck nobody takes pictures of. Then came the scan. The important part was not just whether a check engine light was on. The real value was in startup data, coolant temp, and fuel trim history filled in the blanks. That is where the deal changed. The truck was still technically running. The seller could still say it drove, but the risk was no longer hidden. It was sitting right there, waiting for the next owner to pay for it. And that is the trap with cheap marketplace trucks. The problem is not always that the truck is broken. The problem is that the discount is smaller than the repair bill. The buyer did the math in the driveway: price, parts, labor, unknowns, and the chance that the first repair would reveal the second one. That is when the deal stopped looking cheap. The lesson is simple. Always ask for a dead cold start before judging engine health. If a seller gets impatient while you inspect, that tells you something. If a truck only looks good from the angle in the listing, that tells you something. And if one small clue keeps bothering you, do not talk yourself out of checking it. In this case, a smooth, warm idle was not enough proof. So, the buyer walked. And sometimes the best truck deal is the one you leave sitting exactly where you found it. Would you have bought it or walked away?